All of our Louisiana Country Music Live interviews are brought to you by our friends at Explore Louisiana. Lieutenant Governor Nunn Gessler and his team do an amazing job promoting our great state, and we are very proud to partner with them to provide more awareness and opportunities for Louisiana country music artists. Tonight, we've got a Southwest Louisiana original who is Cajun raised in a cowboy town, a published wildlife biologist turned Nashville songwriter who took the long way to Music City and arrived with her roots fully intact. Her music caught the ear of BBC radio before she ever unpacked a box in Nashville, and it wasn't long before legend Jim Lauderdale was recording her songs and inviting her to the Grand Ole Opry stage. She's got cuts on 3 different continents, including a #1 record on the ARIA Country Charts in Australia, and she's currently releasing singles from her upcoming 2nd full-length album. Please welcome to Louisiana Country Music Live, Miss Sara Douga.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We got a lot going on. And I love sitting here and listening to that newscast that you just gave of all the cool things that are happening back home in Louisiana for country music. It makes me so proud. We have such a strong root in the history of country music. I'm glad to see home is recognizing it.
Yeah, we do it every Tuesday night because artists like yourself and others deserve it. So
thank you, Ronnie.
Like we say at the beginning, we know that people want to support homegrown talent. So our job is to make that as easy as possible for them.
That's awesome.
Well, you just had a birthday before we get started. Happy birthday.
Thank you, baby. I had a good time.
I'm sure you did. That's what South Louisiana women do, right?
That's right.
We got a couple of people on here. I see Karen in the comments. Thanks for joining us again, Karen. She's here every Tuesday night. Welcome back. And then I see get Huck back for we'll have Huck back in soon. You got to come to Baton Rouge to see Huck on this weekend. So
you're talking about Rick Huckabee?
Rick Huckabee, yeah.
That's what's up.
That's it. So let's just dive in. You are from Southwest Louisiana. Which part?
That's right. Sulphur. So, I can say that here, but I normally say Lake Charles, But yeah, Calcasieu Parish, Sulphur, Louisiana, Cajun raised in Cowboy Town.
Okay, sweet. Christy and Lance, what's up? I see y'all in the comments. So that area, what you said is a blend of Cajun culture and cowboy culture. What was it like? What was it like growing up there?
Man, I loved it so much. I never thought I'd leave. I mean, of course, I always dreamed of Nashville since I was a little kid. But, a lot of people in their hometowns think, I'm ready to get out. I wasn't. I just love my people so much. And the land, and how fun is it, the history we have there, right? The Pirates, John Lafitte stories, the old cowboy stories. It's, the largest cattle producer in Louisiana is there, Mr. Burl Beatty. And I spent a good bit of time working cows, hunting and fishing on that land. Had a great childhood.
Okay, so you're a little Cajun and a little cowboy then.
That's right.
Joni Roberts says hello from Texas. So you got your Texas fan on here. So I saw that on the radio on your website is Cajun raised in a cowboy town. So was there ever a situation to where those two identities kind of pulled away from each other, or did they always just?
I don't think so. I think they're the same. Yeah, I cut my teeth. You know High Performance, the French band at home.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Beard and Steve Raleigh, and it's just like a group of like the best players. Brazos Huval, Kevin Dugas. Sometimes it's Jason, but sometimes he's not there. Anyway, they used to let me in college get up there and like cut my teeth with the band, I had to sing in French. And I mean, who I am is that cowboy culture. I grew up showing livestock and all my family's cowboy. So it's just kind of, no, it's one and the same. I think it's all the same. And I think the music that I make sounds the same. It's cowboy with some Cajun influence.
Do you speak French pretty well?
I read it very well, sing it well. I can say my prayers real well.
Do you ever sing in French anymore?
Yeah, actually on this record, the intro is a Zachary Richard song, Belle Louisiane. And there's a song in there, Shabba Creole. It was written by Dennis McGee in the late 1800s. Yeah, I cut that one. It's in French as well.
Wow, nice. And I'll ask a question for our buddy, the Lieutenant Governor. For he always likes to talk about Louisiana. So you're in Nashville now. So what are some things about Louisiana that you really miss?
Oh my goodness. First off, our English is different. Do you know that? Because I really didn't know that until I moved here. Now, I've been here 7 years, so I've just about acclimated, but we grow up with our French and English mixed in so much. Sometimes trying to talk to people, especially when you have babies, you know, you're like, oh, ta-ta. And people are like, what? So I sure miss my people. And I had some crawfish this weekend at Gumbo Brothers in the Gulch. Lord, that made me miss some food.
Yeah, that's our people over there, Adam and the crew, their team.
That's right. Yeah, I love Adam. You know, when he first opened up, I did the Food Network thing, did a segment on Gumbo Brothers. It was fun.
They just opened a new place too. I think I just saw that earlier today.
Where though? I didn't see where it was.
We'll have to go back and check it out. But I think he told me about it a couple of weeks ago when we were there, but I think I saw it on socials earlier. So yeah.
I know they did like a little contest. I was guessing.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to be in Tennessee or I thought maybe Birmingham.
Yeah. I can't remember. He didn't tell me where. He just said he's opening new, and so I have to go check that out after.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
And dancing, Ronnie. I miss dancing. Man, when I was like 21, I worked in Texas for Texas Parks and Wildlife Monday through Wednesday because we could only work 40 hours a week. I'd be done with that. Work for the Marsh Club on the Sabine. And then I'd be dancing at home Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was skinny.
When you say dancing, you mean real dance. You're talking about the two-stepping and all
French
that.
dancing, yeah. Jitterbug.
Wow, okay. You're doing the old school.
I'm so old school, I can't help it. I'm old.
So kind of digging into music a little bit, was music something that you kind of grew up on? Was that a big part of your upbringing?
Yes. You know, my daddy, Cowboy, and he used to starch the hell out of his jeans, you know, and on Sundays he would sit there and listen to remember when Kix 96 would play the old school songs, and it always started out 1814, we took a little trip. I would be sitting there with the dogs in the garage while he was ironing clothes, and you know, those little moments, that old school country music really just caught me. And something about growing up in the age where Walkmans and the CD players, right? So I'd go to sleep with the Chicks every night singing to me, and the Cox Family and Alison Krauss, and it just, music became mama for me, you know, taught me things, and yeah, it's always been a part.
So who were you just named a few of them, including the Cox Family from Louisiana?
I love them.
Have you seen what Suzanne and Brandon have been putting out?
Yes, and Suzanne's the only one I don't know, but I love that so much. It makes me so happy, and I like that they're like owning all those old songs that they've had life and they're giving life to again. I love it.
Cool what they're doing, yeah. So, but who are some of those influences that you had early on that kind of made you want to do music?
You know what? I made a TikTok today because I walked in, you know, I teach school too. And I walked into one of my homegirls' classrooms and she was playing Cameo and I was singing every word. And she said, "How do you know that?" I said, "Girl, when I was young, my mom and my sister always liked to go shopping and I could not stand that. But my dad and I went to the mall with them one time. We snuck off to the record store and I stopped at the C's. And I landed on Cameo, Patsy Cline, and Conway Twitty. And I feel like that sums me up. But I love Cajun French music. I love traditional roots. I love and I love what we do with our hip hop. I love Chris Ardwin. I love J. Paul. I'm so grateful to be from Louisiana where I have this like rich, I didn't have to choose, you know, everything came out. It's a little bit of everything, but the Chicks were definitely massive for me. Yeah, Alison Krauss is definitely my number one. And I met her before I moved here. It was so cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I was telling somebody the other day that I saw Natalie Maines back in the day, and I was just like blown away how talented she was. Unbelievable. So that whole Southwest Louisiana, the Lake Charles, the I don't know if Lafayette's considered like Southwest, but say like start at Lafayette and move towards Lake Charles. That whole area is so unique, and there's so many talented people, not just in country, but just in all genres, like you talked about. What do you think that it is down there? You know, some people say it's in the water and all that, but why do you think it's just so many talented people?
I'm gonna answer that honest. You know, Calcasieu is the Wild Wild West, right? Like at olden days, that was no man's land where they sent all the outlaws. And I feel like the free form, all for, just all out anything goes, really still lives there. We are wow. And I mean that in a way of like we just find our own, and we kind of, life's a little bit tough. You're basically you're in the oil field or you are running livestock when you're over there. And I think it just makes people tough and rugged and ready to say whatever they want to say. And I think it's so cool how we just celebrate all the different cultures. We're all just so mixed.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy to be who they really are. I love that. That's what I think.
Yeah, and Louisiana's got like this authenticity. Like whenever you listen to, I guess really any type of music, you can hear every type of music almost. If that
That's
makes sense.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so proud of that, Ronnie, on this record. I produced this record and it sorry, can I riff here for a minute?
Yeah.
That I have so many tracks with like I have this one track called Speaking Tequila, and it's Jay Bellarose is doing percussion. He did, the Raising Sand records that Allison and did with Robert Plant.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like my favorite percussionist. He's doing all this cool African percussion. And David Maldonado's playing flamenco guitar. The Mariachi Divas are on horns. And there's so many tracks like that where I got to bring in everything for me that is the root of country music. And for me, it's like everything. My great-great-grandmother's from the Canary Islands, so I brought in some of that Spanish influences, everything that runs in my blood gets a little bit celebrated in this record. I'm so excited for it.
So are you doing some producing too, or?
That's like, yeah, I think that's like what makes me so happy. Like producing is where I get to stretch all of my wings. Yeah, I've produced everything I've done. I co-produced Joe and Jen with a guy named Lee Horrocks, who was amazing. But yeah, this record I produced it. We record at Starstruck. And I was so lucky. I had the best time, Ronnie. That was like the most fun I've ever had in my life was producing that record. I love to produce.
Yeah, I co-produced whenever I was writing back in the day, and it's so much fun to go in the studio and just you're really bringing it to life, and it's your own little way of doing it.
Yeah, and it's like I've been here for 7 years now, and I've done my sniffing out of who belongs on what track and who works together and who to lean on. And oh, it was just a moment where it's like, oh, okay, everything I've been working for musically is right. It's all right here in this one room. It's cool.
And a lot of artists, and it's not, there's no right or wrong way or anything like that. A lot of artists, they'll write something and they basically turn it over to the producers, and that's okay and everything. But for me, I'm like, I want to be in there. I want to be in the decision making process. I want to be on the grind, and I want to have to stay on everything. And yeah. So that's
I got to chart it.
Yeah.
I got to, now I want to do everything. Now I'm not great. My bass players still help me, but I now want the whole thing. I cook them. No, Ronnie, I'm so crazy. Like, depending on what we're tracking that day, I cook. Okay, so we're going to have gumbo on this day because I want you to feel like XYZ. We're going to have, I did sausage and red gravy on this day because I want you to feel XYZ. I didn't feed you on the third day because I need you on your toes. I cultivate the whole environment. Wait, what?
I'm going to give you tequila on this day because I need you to be a little loose.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. So I always do some research, and I always just when I'm asking the questions, I always hope that I get it right.
Oh, Lord.
Because you never know with the internet. But I was reading that you wrote your first song at 8 years old.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. So
wait, what?
tell us a little bit about that.
Do you know, I really don't think you choose music because no one with any damn sense would do it. It chooses you. But I was getting ready for school in the bathroom. I was brushing my hair and I thought I was going to throw up. I felt this like, and I ran to my room. I mean, I was in the bathroom, but I ran to my room and I just started writing something down, and it was a song coming out of me. I feel like the portal opened up. Then I had the bug and I was writing every day, coming home from school, writing. And it's not stopped.
So you started like you didn't just write a song and stop. You started writing a lot at 8 years
Yeah,
old.
once I figured out what that was, and it all came out, lyrics, music, a beat. And that I didn't have anything to record it on, so I would write like, if I wrote it in cursive, it needed to be pretty. If I wrote it in block, it was staccato. If I wrote it big, it was crescendo. If I wrote it small, so I had to write it. I had to like denote myself on paper that way. And that's how I started. I never stopped. I still have like tubs of all my old first songs.
Were you playing instruments with it, or were you just writing lyrics?
Not in the beginning. I didn't get a guitar till I was 14. I was just writing and singing over it and memorizing that.
Wow. What were you writing about at 8? Like, what do you even know?
Listen, at 8, it was, I need you to go to get away from my heart and away from my soul. She's heartbroken. I don't know what happened to that 8-year-old.
Poor kid. God,
I know. Wait, and then the second one was Solar Rebel. What'd you say?
I said, where's that boy at that broke her heart? We need to whip this out.
Oh, ain't no boy ever broke my heart.
Jason White over here in the comments says, man, I want to be in in the studio on Gumbo Day.
That's right. And now Starstruck, they call me the Gumbo lady. If I walk in without Gumbo, they're like, what the hell?
That's the problem. Once you show people that you can cook, then that's your thing. Yeah. So was there a certain time? So you started writing whenever you were 8, started playing guitar and stuff around 14. Was there a certain time that you were like, music, something that I kind of want to pursue more than just like playing at the house or whatever?
Yeah, I think I was about 4. It's just singing. I was always singing. Always singing Shania Twain songs, like performing it with a bat, with a baseball bat, singing. Yeah, I always knew. I mean, from kindergarten, when they ask you on career day, what are you going to be? And like, what's your goal? I'm like, CMA Female Vocalist of the Year. That's what I've said that from, the little teeny baby. I think songwriting, I just didn't know it was a thing till it came to me.
Huh, that's interesting. So you were performing. You were performing before you even did anything musically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So now you write, like, is it you play guitar mainly? Do you play any other instruments or anything?
No, I can play a little bit of keyboard, but I don't tell nobody that because I'm not great.
You write everything on your guitar and everything.
Yeah, well, if I'm alone, I try to not write on my guitar. I try as much as possible, unless the artist that I'm writing with needs me to play guitar, to not, because it's like a muscle memory, and I would limit myself. I'd go to the same chord, but vocally, I've never limited myself. I'll come up with something amazing every time, or something crazy, or something I wouldn't have done whereas if I sit on the guitar, I block myself into country chords or.
That's interesting. I don't think I've heard anybody explain it like that. Yeah, that's interesting though, and it makes sense that I probably do that sometimes, limiting myself doing that.
Yeah, and I can hear better. I mean, to me, it's like, not to freak anybody out, but songwriting is channeling. So if I'm making noise over it, I can hear so much better if I'm quiet. The whole thing will just drop sometimes. Sometimes it takes years, but if I'm quiet, I have more of a chance for it to just come out how it wants to.
Yeah, I see Alex here in the comments. He says that could preach. The guitar could put a whole room in a box sometimes. Yeah, I've just never thought about it like that, I guess. I've never really written without. Now I've written like in my head, like driving or something, but I always just get a guitar. Soon after that, I've never like just tried to write the whole song on purpose without a guitar.
And then like rhythmically, it might foul you up.
Yeah.
And I'm bossy in a co-write too. I'll be like, don't play that guitar. Let me get it all out first.
Put that down.
Yeah, don't hold me back.
Kristen Lance said she has a beautiful voice. Good old Southern gal. So.
Oh, thank you, honey.
So another part of my research, so that you were playing little shows. I don't want to say little. You were playing shows at like local casinos and stuff at like 15 or 16. And then
my dad snuck me into Delta Downs at 15.
You see the comment there? He said, "Is that a Bush beer?"
Yes. No, baby. It's a soda water. I got the tism, so I don't like regular water. It's got a.
Yeah.
It's got. I don't mean to disappoint, but you know.
back to so you were at that age, you were playing shows like that.
Yeah, I was getting chances to sit in with bands. Yeah, I remember the first time I did that was at Delta Downs when I was 15. My daddy snuck me in on a Wednesday night, and I got up there and sang Seminole Wind. Yeah, I'm grateful for those moments, because how else do you break in with a band? How do you get used to, like learn how to lead a band? What key are you in? Even just feeling the sound on the stage. I'm grateful because when I played these places like the Station Inn and you have, a little more pressure, I had already done all that.
Yeah. One of the questions that I always like to ask people is just their thoughts on just today's world. I mean, it's not good or bad, but like today's world, you see like this TikTok world almost, where you see so many artists that just stay on TikTok and they never get out and play the shows and stuff. And it's great because you can reach so many people, but there is something to those shows where you got to get out there and earn it. You got to get out there and figure it out in real time, But
Ronnie, what comes first? Because like I have trouble booking. So like they're like, well, what are your TikTok numbers? I'm like, okay, well, 30,000. Okay, well, when you get up to 1 million, call us back. Okay, but I've played the Opry and I've played the Station Inn and I've played all these. I played the Jazz Fest. Like, please let me come down with my band. So it's hard to. I don't knock anybody, baby. You get it where you can get it, wherever you can.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking. It's funny because like I think you're making the point too. It's like it's that balance, because it's almost like you have to have both. And like you said, is it the chicken or the egg? Which one do you do? Because that's what they're looking at now is your TikTok numbers.
I know.
But then if you stayed there completely, when that opportunity did come, you might get on stage and be like, oh crap, I've never actually done this.
I know, right? Like I do wish that venue promoters would watch people play live. Right. So they're just you and your guitar is one thing, but can you lead a band? Can you kick a band? Can you stop? Can you be dynamic? Can you make that crowd feel something with more than one on the stage? Do you know what I mean? I do wish. I feel like my worry is, well, it's not a worry, because if I keep it straight, somebody will be doing it. But I want the crowd to want to feel it, for it to be done properly.
Yeah, no doubt. So you went to McNeese State for college?
I sure did. Wow. They wrote me a nice little check, Ronnie. I had to go.
Nothing wrong with that. It said you got a degree in natural resource conservation with a focus on wildlife management.
That's right.
I think you're our first guest that has that degree so far. You're a published wildlife biologist.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about that. So you work in that field? You don't work in that field anymore, right?
Well, I teach 8th graders. That's wildlife if you ask me, but so I worked as a vet tech, and I worked when I was in high school and college, and I managed the pig farm for a minute for McNeese, and then I worked at Delta Downs on the racetrack. I loved large animals. So I thought, and I love working cows. So I thought I wanted to be a vet. So when I went to McNeese, I triple majored. Animal science, ag education, and then I did wildlife. But wildlife was just, I felt like I was learning how the world worked. And I felt like that was going to contribute the most to my songwriting. And it's just my passion. A songwriter is really just an observer of the world, And so, and I wrote all the time. So Wildlife allowed me to write because we have to publish articles all the time. Now, I worked for, in the summertime, you had to do internships. So I worked for U.S. Fish and Wildlife. I worked for the Marsh Club down there. They let me stay on for a few years. They were good to me. And then I worked for Texas Parks and Wildlife and Coastal Fisheries. I was a marine biologist. And while I was there, a janitor from Sulphur High School shot a squirrel and brought it to McNeese and said, something's wrong with this thing. And I was just a lucky girl that got to write the note on it, right? So it had malocclusion, rodents' teeth are aligned like this and they never stop growing. So every time they chew, they just gnaw their teeth back down. Well, this little homie was off and it grew and grew and grew and it went straight through his skull like a unicorn. And there's never a documented case of severe malocclusion in the gray squirrel in North America. So I got to write that note. It got published in Texas Journal of Science. And at the same time, I had met these other biologists and I was writing commercial articles for Texas Saltwater Fishing Magazine. So yeah, I've been published a couple times.
So if I Google like unicorn squirrel or something, that's a
I have a website that I keep separate called The Marsh Hen, and it has all of my publications on there. And I've been featured in some like fishing magazines and stuff. So I did. Yeah, wow. I like to fish.
You like to fish and all of that stuff too?
I love to fish. Now, listen, I've been single mom with 2 kids, so I be working a lot. I haven't done that in a while, but yeah, there was a time where I fished a lot.
Yeah, right now you're like, I'll be working.
I'm working. Somebody got to make some money. Somebody got to get, I had a number 1 in Australia, and I'm still waiting. Where's that number 1 money?
It's down under. Yeah. Goodness. So you back in 2011, I guess 15 years ago, it says that you won like a showdown or something. What was that about?
Yeah, 15 years ago was 2011. That feels crazy.
Texas Country Showdown. I mean, Texaco Country.
Texaco Country Showdown. At yesterday's, where are you from, Ronnie?
I am from Vidalia.
Vidalia. Yeah. Lake Charles used to have this place called Yesterday's. Do you remember that club?
I've heard of it. I've never been, but I've heard of it.
It's a good time. We used to throw down at Yesterday's. But they did, Kicks 96 did it used to be called Nash FM. Or Nash.
Okay, yeah.
Something like, and at one point in time, it was the Colgate Country Showdown. Yeah, but when I did it, it was the Texaco. Yeah, I won that in Lake Charles. It was so sweet.
What was that? Did that kind of give you a boost as far as
it gave me, yes, it gave me like, yeah, a little recognition, a little time to, when we went to the next level, Lake Charles had done it so big. When we went to the state level, it was in Shreveport, I think. And they did a great job, but it was, Lake Charles had done. Yeah, but and again, getting used to playing with, anytime you can play with a full band, especially when you're young. Lucky.
Yeah. What I think Todd O'Neill did that one year too, didn't he?
Yeah, Todd went up big though. He won regional, didn't he? That's why he landed in Nashville, isn't it?
I think so, but yeah. That's the same like the same
thing. One. Yeah. Your girl stopped in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelby Richard says she used to catch alligators in the marsh.
Shelby Richard, we used to get stuck in the marsh. I did, and I got bit by a dang alligator one time. Barely anything. Let me tell you what, they make a big deal out of that.
What happens if you get bit by an alligator? You have to get like
my God, you got to go to the hospital. I mean, we were tagging gators for the feds. And do you know how you do that, Ronnie? You know how to tag them?
No, I don't.
Shelby Richard stands on we're on an airboat. So somebody's driving, somebody's standing behind the driver with a Q-beam, and somebody else is laying flat chest on their chest on the bow of the boat, leaned over, waiting for Shelby to go, Douga, that one on the left. And you get up on him and you grab him. Well, you do it like 1 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was tough and did a great job until about, 2:30. and all this was raw. And I grabbed him by the neck, and when I pulled him into the boat, you got to put the rubber band around their neck, around their mouth, And when I did that, he and caught me, and I mean, he barely scraped my finger. You got to go to the hospital. You got to get a tetanus shot. You got to be on 10 kinds of antibiotics for weeks. It's crazy. Made all kind of fuss.
We're coming up on a year of doing this show every Tuesday night, and that might be the most Louisiana story that we've heard.
Stick around.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. So you set in with like some Cajun bands and stuff like that. So do you think that setting in with those type of bands helped you learn more about like music and performance in the country genre too? Like just those.
Well, I think they're one and the same.
Do you?
I think they're the same. Have you been to the Country Music Hall of Fame here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you know we have a stationary case dedicated to the Hackberry Ramblers, meaning it's like a cornerstone of country music, what Cajun music has done in shaping the sound of what country is today. I think it's the same. But the thing about Cajun music, you can make me get emotional, is it the reason why we did that is because things were so hard. We kept getting exiled, and our people just learned to sing and dance to make it fine. Mm. And it made me feel it. I never had a problem with feeling anything, but when I sing country bands, I'm always pulling back what it feels like to feel that music. There's people dancing and you're moving them literally. Yeah, it made me feel it.
Yeah. We had Amanda Shaw on a while back, and she was talking about, it was the first time I'd really thought about that, but she was talking about the different types of music, like Cajun music and stuff, but then you can kind of compare that with like bluegrass and all that. And if you go back far enough, they're all singing about like sort of the same thing. They're singing about like the struggles of their time and stuff like that. And it's all pretty similar stories. It's just a different sound, but the stories are very similar. They were just singing about like the struggles of their day and everything.
I love that. We sing like my lâche pas la patate, Monet. Don't drop the potato. Don't forget what you're working on. Don't keep that's our version of keep on the sunny side. I love the stories of, I know when those songs were being written, we couldn't speak French in America. Our grandparents were getting beat in school. Our people were getting exiled. People were dying for you to be Cajun. So it reminds me of who I am and the lineage that I come from and what it means to be able to get up here and sing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And so your sound, from some of the stuff I was reading and hearing it too, but seeing other people describe it, it was like traditional, sort of real and timeless type sound, classical, I guess, not classic. Is that something that you shoot for, or are you just kind of putting out what comes out, or you got sound you're going for?
Yeah, I just served the song, but that to me is a big honor to hear those things. Timeless, classic. I mean, that doesn't go away. Mm-hmm. So that means it sounds familiar and it's hitting something in your soul, and I feel really grateful that people see that.
Do you think that that's coming back? Do you think that those types of because there for a while, you know how the music industry is. This will happen for 5 years, and then you'll have bro country and all of that. I think that there's a movement coming back towards that more of a classic sound. Do you feel that?
Yeah, when I got here, I was taking all these major label meetings, and what were they telling me? Honey, you're too country for country music. And now there's Zach Top and May and Ella and SJ, and I do think people want it. Now, my sound is 90s as well, like that, but it's also a little more Tammy Wynette, Patsy Cliney. There's a little more depth in there as well, and I sure as heck hope I'm gonna do everything I can, Ronnie, to make that come back. Make people want that.
You're doing a good job of it. I'm ready. I'm excited to hear the new album. Was your first album, was that the 2018? Is that the first album?
Boots, Bras, and Draws. Yeah, I wrote that in high school.
Boots, Bras, and Draws.
Yeah, my mom, she said, Dougie, what do you need to get ready to go to school? I said, I need a new pair of boots, some bras and underwear. And she goes, boots, bras, and drawers. And I ran to my room and wrote that.
I don't think there's many, I don't think there's many songs with that exact title.
And that, Ronnie, that's the record. It's so crazy because that's the record that put Chris Smith at Country Music People magazine in Europe wrote a really sweet and lovely write-up about that. And I don't know who prompted him to do that. And then Bob Harris picked me up and put half that record on BBC. I mean, that's 20 million listeners a week. It really did something for me. And it was, 10 years, 15 years later. And it's just, I feel like, I know I'm not where I want to be in my career yet, but that always reminds me, like, hey, be who you really are.
Yeah, and you never know. Tomorrow may be the big day. You never know.
Right.
Emily Eleanor Hodges says Sarah's one of my favorite underrated artists.
Aww.
So so you put that out before you moved to Nashville, or?
Yeah, I did. I put that out, and then Lainey came down to play. CJ's mom used to put on 3rd Street Songwriters Festival. So I went to Baton Rouge to meet her, and I was in my 20s, but Miss Kay said, well, let's give somebody had backed out of the round the next day. And Miss Kay goes, let's give that little girl a shot. She thought I was young. And so I showed up, and I didn't tell anybody any different. And I sang in that round, and then in that round, somebody from Lafayette asked me to come play another round. And in that round in Lafayette, Buddy Holly Educational Foundation picked me up and brought me to England to do a songwriters retreat there. And it was the same time that Bob Harris had heard my record and was playing it on BBC. So I was in England when that was happening. And I was living in Louisiana for all of that. And I wrote that song that got me on the Opry over there in England. So it was I didn't move to Louisiana I didn't move to Nashville until 2019, and I released that record the year before. It might have been 2017 the first time, because I re-released it with 1 RPM. Yeah.
Which, I wonder what year I bet you I was at that 3rd Street Festival.
Come on! Had to been 2017.
I think I was there every year, yeah.
Yeah, it was Lainey and, what's her name? Cute little girl that used to hang out with her all the time. Dark hair. Jenna LeMaster. Todd was there. Todd O'Neill was there.
I have the shirts from every year, and one day I looked at the back of the shirt and I was like, there's like 6 people on here with #1 hits, like huge hits. Like,
isn't that cool?
Kay was putting together a lineup back in the day.
She knew what was going on.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Those were good times. I bet I was there though whenever that happened. So let's jump on the Opry thing real quick. Tell us about that and how that came to be and the experience.
So when I was in Lafayette at the Songwriters Retreat, I had met Jim Lauderdale, and he got off the stage and said, I want to go where you're going. I want to do what you're doing. I want to write what you're writing. And I said, well, I'm going to England. And he said, well, then I will too. And I thought he was joking, but sure as shit, he went to England. And we got there and we wrote, let me just tell you something. You know C.C. Adcock, Louisiana boy? He plays with Tommy McClain all the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
C.C. showed up in England because him and Robert Plant are really close. And he shows up where we are and interrupts my write. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, Lafayette boy. Leave me alone. And Jim gets up and goes, hey, honey, I've got to go handle this with Cece. I'll be back. I said, Jim, it's late. I'll forgive you if you don't. And he sat back down and we wrote, I'll forgive you if you don't. So thank you, Cece. And then he ended up recording it and playing it all over the place. He plays that song in almost every set, and I'm really grateful. And so he asked me to come on the Opry and sing it with him. It was the first place I played when I moved to Nashville.
That's hard to top that. You're supposed to work your way up to that.
I'm still trying to get back.
Yeah. Yeah, you're supposed to work your way up to the Opry, not start there.
I don't know.
Written on the river over in Lafayette says, yeah, we know C.C. Adcock. Chad went to school with him, Chad Massey, over in Lafayette. So, yeah, that's funny.
Oh, I love C.C. Yeah, that's my boy. I give him hell all the time.
So what was that? What was that adjustment like moving from Southwest Louisiana area to Nashville?
Well, I had been coming once a month for a few months. And I got to the point where like every time I'd leave Nashville to go home, I'd bawl my eyes out. So I knew it was home, and I was happy. It felt free. It felt good to be, you have that calling that your North Star, you just got to listen to it. So I was happy. And I was so lucky, Ronnie, because I came here because of all those little songwriting opportunities. I was writing with Hall of Famers when I got here. And honestly, it kind of bit me in the butt because later, when you have publishing meetings, they're like, hey, who of your peers are you writing with? I'm like, I don't know any of my peers because I got here and was writing with the big dogs.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like now I'm just now like tapping into, fine. I have two babies, so it's different. I couldn't go out to the bar and hang out all night and get to know everybody. So it's been a different process. I'm so grateful to the people that gave me the time of day.
Yeah, that's interesting because it is hard because one of the big things about being in Nashville is, that they tell you get out, go everywhere, talk to everybody that you can and all that. And that's Chancey Neal was just talking about that recently. We had a conversation. She was talking about how they said, you can't have a family and this and that. She was like, well, I'm just going to do it my way. And if that's whatever happens, happens. And
I love Chancey, and Chancey means what she says too. She ain't playing.
Yeah. I mean, she seems happy. She still goes there a lot, but she's back home doing it her way and doing the family thing and all of that. And there's a lot of respect for that.
Yes. I've written with her a few times. I love her.
Yeah, she's very talented too.
Yes.
So in 2023, you had, is that whenever you had the number one in Australia?
Yes. Well, and listen, it wasn't my song. So let's see. So it was the record went number one, and I wrote the title track and the first single.
Okay.
But yeah, it was my first number one record to be part of. Yeah. Look, here it is. Where is it? Over there on the end. The white one.
It said the way that I read Ella Hooper, it says Australian rock legend. So is that a rock album?
No. All right. So Ella is kind of like her and her brother Jesse had this band called Killing Heidi. And the only thing comparable that I know to relate it to for Americans is it's kind of like Billie Eilish and Phineas.
Mm-hmm.
But Ella was in the early 2000s, so she was like 14, and she had the song called Weir that just blew way up, and she was huge, and she was coming to America doing things, and I think that kind of set her in a trajectory. She's one of my best friends, so I feel okay talking about it. I think it kind of set her in a trajectory of like rock and put her in a box for Australia of what she ought to be. And so she came to me and said, hey, I've never co-written with anyone, but I want to write a country record. And I want, she loves Linda Ronstadt. So do I always say, I'm like, people say, what's your sound? I'm like, Cajun Linda Ronstadt. But, so she came and asked me, she said, I want to write a country record. Will you write with me? I said, yes, ma'am, but we're going to write the truth. And so it's her story.
Nice. I have to check that out. Listen to it I always like hearing the story behind those things. Now I'll be listening to it with a new perspective.
Man, Ronnie, let me break your heart real quick. It was during COVID, so we were writing online, and she was in Australia and I was here, and she was living with her mother. Soon as they finished the record, her mom passed away of cancer, and 6 weeks later, her dad passed away of cancer, both of which were featured on the record.
Wow.
And the record went number one. It was such an emotional.
Yeah. Wow.
It's cool. Yeah. It was cool. I was proud and honored to be able to like capture her story with her mom in the background. The record's called Small Town Temple. She was raised in a decommissioned Catholic church. And so it's talking about her upbringing. And I wrote that. And if you listen to it, I wrote Small Town Temple with her. When I heard the production, I was like, that sounds Cajun. Wait till you hear that.
Yeah.
That fiddle, it just sounds so French. I was so proud of it.
I still have a couple of hours of work to do tonight after this. I'm going to pop it on and check it out. Yeah. So whenever you're writing, do you generally write for yourself or do you write for other people or like?
I just write. I just let whatever happens. But if I'm booking something, I think I've gotten to the point in this town where I'm the songwriter. in the room. But every now and then, like I wrote with Davis Corley the other day, and he goes, "Oh, Douga, I've been waiting for months to write for you." So, it just depends. I know a lot of people do book writes that way, but for me, more feel I like to see what's in the room when we walk in. I just want to write the truth. I don't really care who it's for.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you know how it is. A lot of times, it's like let's try to write a song for so and so today or whatever.
I know, and a lot of people operate that way. I can't do anything that doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
And that probably feels real to them. But for me, it's like, I wrote with Mark Nevin in England once, and when we walked in, he said the song always reveals itself within the first 20 seconds. It just depends on if you're paying attention. And I've stuck to that. Whatever pops up, that energy between people.
Yeah.
Rewrite that one.
I got my written. I see written on the river on here. They sent me this. They sent me my tumbler with all the names on the state. So
Aww.
you're still on here. I'm just drinking water out of it tonight. But
written on the river. I've been talking to you on TikTok, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's them. They're sweet folks. So I read that you said this. I don't know if you know the internet, but it said that you have said that an artist's job is to write and perform from the heart, and then let the industry figure out where to put you.
That's right. I think so. Anyway.
Yeah, that's.
Well, Ronnie, I don't know. Ask me in 10 years if I still believe it. But for me, it's like, I just don't want to chase my tail. I've been with people, like, tried to work with people, and they're like, "Oh, you need to fit this." I'm like, honey, I will never fit that. I'm never going to be that, that is why TikTok is so cool. Facebook is so cool. Social media is so cool. Instagram, because it allows you to find your own audience. Now, the hard part is you have to be good at singing, writing, look good, appealing, and marketing. But it at least, we don't have to get on the road like Loretta did and go to all these radio stations. You just get to pop on your cell phone. We're pretty lucky.
Yeah, very fortunate in that way. Yeah, written on the river. They said yes. I asked you today if you knew Alex and Ronnie. Say yeah, I guess you're. They're awesome. They're on here supporting the artist almost every week too, and it's really cool to see people who hop on here a lot and just get to know all the new all of the artists from Louisiana. This is one of my favorite things that I've ever been able to do is do this show every week. So do you think that Nashville has tried to put you in a box?
I don't know that anybody would ever be successful. I'm too stubborn, but I don't know, Ronnie. That's hard to say, because if I could say yes and say, yeah, I've lost out on, 4 or 5 record deals that were kind of on the table because I didn't look like or sound like XYZ. But at the same time, I've played the Opry. I've never really been told no if I've asked somebody to write. I've played the station in a handful of times. I've got heroes that say yes to work with me. So I can't say that,
Yeah.
Maybe it's why I'm, still in my living room today and not where I want to, but I also trust the timing of the universe. So I don't think so. And I think it all shapes you some kind of way. So I'm grateful. It might piss me off every now and then, but
two things can be true at the same time.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah,
get your head out of your rear end. Come on.
Oh my goodness. And I'm not going to keep you much longer because I know you got them, the kiddos and all that. And sounds like you got to be at school in the morning and all that stuff. But a couple more for you. I think you've probably already answered this. I think I'm already knowing the answer, but I always like to ask this: is what do you think makes a great country song in your opinion?
The truth. I want to feel it. That's the whole thing. I love country. Another thing I really love is rap. And it's because, to me, all genres of music speak the truth. But for me, those two, I can feel the truth. I can feel that passion the clearest. I just think, tell me the truth, baby. I want to feel your heart. That's what makes a good country song.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to say, the authenticity.
You don't know me yet, Ronnie. You don't know.
Yeah. So you've got your latest single. You just put out a single in April.
Yeah.
tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Oh my God, I love the song so much. It's called Just Because the World Does. I wrote it with Jay Knowles. If you don't know Jay Knowles, he wrote Nothing Fancy for Alan Jackson. I always call him Mr. Conversational Country Music because his songs just sound like you're talking. Like it's just so real, and it's very hard to be simple. Simple is not easy, and
Yeah.
that Jay is so simple. He also wrote, you remember that song, Love You, Love This Town? Yeah, that's Jay. He's got a bunch of good songs.
Is that Jack Ingram?
Yes. And then he wrote Saying What I'm Thinking with Lainey.
Yeah, okay.
But it was like this, because it was during COVID. And he goes, I hate that I'm meeting you like this, but it's just the way the world is. And I said, man, just because the world says, we just started riffing. And when we got to the hook, which if you haven't heard it yet,
I listened to it before we came on. It's really good.
Thank you. Jay said it, but before he said it, because we were building up line for line, a lot of times you have a hook idea and you're writing to that hook, but we were just honestly having a conversation, which makes sense for the way Jay writes. And we got down to that last line where we needed a rhyme, and I looked up and Jay's crying, bawling, and he goes, and he says, we don't have to ever give up on love just because the world does. I'm like, ah! That's amazing. Yeah. I love it so much. And when I got in the studio, I told the crew, I said, I just want to feel like Vince Gill and Patti Loveless wish they cut the song in the 90s. And Austin Crum got on that electric guitar and just absolutely nailed the sound. I'm just so proud of it. It feels real.
Yeah, I was listening to it earlier today. It's really good. It's a really good song. The hook on it's great. I would have guessed that you probably got the hook and right to the hook if you wouldn't have told me that story.
We just showed the honest truth. I just got to talking about, man, isn't it sad when you're in a relationship with someone and they might be the reason why you're mad, but like you're still the person I want to fall into. Yeah. You don't need to give up on, don't give up.
Yeah. Well, and I want to give you a chance before we get you out of here to talk about your new project that's coming out. You're releasing some singles from the album. Is that I guess that's what everybody's doing now?
Yeah, it's been a year. I've been releasing singles. So we've released 5. So the whole record comes out May 29th.
Okay, so the rest of the records comes out. What do you want people to know about the new record?
It's my hat tip to home. It's I recorded Amy Como. Do you remember Amy Como in the 90s? She had this song, Who's She to You, written by Frank Myers and Donnie Keys, and she's kind of starting to climb the charts. She just signed a major record deal. She's from Denham Springs. Okay. And she got in a car wreck and passed away. So I cut that song in her honor. It's the roots of country music in my eyes. The record starts out, Belle Louisiane, je chante mon corps pour toi, I sing my heart for you. So it's everything that it's me telling Louisiana and I love them and telling my story.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. I'm so excited. Sonically, lyrically, and then the record tells a whole story, start to finish. I can't wait for it to be out. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's one of the things missing in a singles world now is like it's something about an album and everything works together on great albums, and it's just the way it is these days. Most people aren't putting out albums anymore, so you kind of lose that. So that's really cool to hear.
Thank you. It's just I can't fit all of me into 3 minutes, I need 45.
Yeah. Couple more and I'll let you get out of here.
I'm loving it.
We got you got a lot going on, with work and kids, like you mentioned, and all that, being a mom and teaching and 8th graders, and then music. I mean, how do you try to balance all this stuff?
I don't. I quit trying a long time ago. I just take it as it comes, and I trust that who I am on the inside is enough to get me through this moment. My truck overheated on my way home with my 2 babies, and I have no idea how the hell I made it here. So tomorrow, let us pray that I make it to the shop. But I just let it go, Ronnie. I just let it go, and I started living in the present moment and serve in the present moment as much as I can, because all those things are who I am naturally, and it's what I'm having to do in this moment. And so I can't, what am I going to do? Break myself? No, I don't care about anything but right here, right now.
That's a great that's a great approach to life. I mean, ideally, that's the way we should all be doing it, right? I mean,
scrolling by, I don't know, but it's what Douga is doing right now, because it's all Douga's got.
Yeah. Well, life is only right now. It's only in the present. So I mean, you can only live it right now. So why not just do that?
And I have such beautiful people. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? My neighborhood, somebody showed up for my kids today. One of my neighbors brought me coolant so I can make it to the place in the morning. Like, or just Nashville is pretty amazing. And I'm really grateful for the people that I have. And now I'm in a relationship now with a partner that, partners. I'm learning about that too. So I just have gorgeous community. The teachers that I teach with, like, somebody's gonna have your back. People just show up. So I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without that love either. And I'm independent. Like, people like you letting me on, WSM letting me on, BBC, the Opry giving me the time of day. I haven't been back, but they're good to me. I'm radio guest hosting next week for Coffee Country and Cody.
That way people can tune in.
Yeah, so Wednesday, May 13th at 8 o'clock in the morning, I will be your guest host on Coffee Country and Cody, WSM, the Opry station, 6:50 a.m. And I'm so excited.
That's going to be awesome. And people can stream that online?
Yep, it's on Circle TV and it's on AM radio.
Okay, awesome. Danny Butler said her national anthem took me to church.
Oh, Danny. Yes, Kim Mulkey. Oh, I love Kim Mulkey. Okay, so her team reached out and said, hey, we saw you sing the national anthem for the Sun Belt Championship at McNeese. And I got to go down for South Carolina LSU game, 13,000 people. And
I was about to say, that's not an insignificant game. Yeah.
It was awesome. I hope you go find the link, because, man, the whole crowd started singing with me. So I started directing them. Oh, it was so beautiful. I love Louisiana.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, that's the biggest game of the year.
It was amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm grateful. Yeah, and I'm hoping, LSU, that we come back in the fall, because, man, nothing feels like as good as like touching the hearts of your people. On the way out, somebody in the parking lot stopped me and said, hey, I felt your heart in there.
I love it. That's awesome. I guess the last thing before I get you out of here is just knowing what you know now, the experience that you've had over the few years of learning and all of that is we have a lot of up-and-comers in Louisiana, a lot of very talented. Some of these kids are like 16, 17, 18, and super, super talented. What advice would you give to them as far as moving to Nashville or this whole music business, whatever advice you want to give them?
For people at home?
Yeah, like the up-and-comers, like what advice would you give them for thinking about even trying to get in this crazy world called music?
Well, two things. The first one is nothing matters but what you feel in your heart. You follow that North Star. It doesn't matter what it is, because I'm telling you, I might not be where I want to be yet, but I'm so happy every time when I lay down in bed at night, I'm doing exactly what I can do to be who I want to be. And that feels so dang good. And the successes that I have had have been real honest and deeply true to who I am. And that feels amazing. The second thing is, Ronnie, I'm so glad you're doing this, because I couldn't get a gig in a Mexican restaurant in Louisiana. Now, I had great love with Miss Kay. I had great love with Create Lafayette and Buddy Holly Educational Foundation, who came in and let us do a songwriters retreat there, but those are two events. So if you're getting denied, or if you're a girl and they're not letting you play, because that's happened a time or two, just know that Douga couldn't get a gig in a Mexican restaurant, and then the next week I was playing the Opry. So you be you, baby, whatever that means.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, it's good advice too.
And thank you for doing this, Ronnie. Thank you.
Well, this is all about you guys. I mean, like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite things that I've ever been able to do, is to do this show. We're coming up on a year. I think we're on like 45 or something like that. So we're just a few away from 52. And it's amazing to meet new people and to hear these stories. And it's just a real honor to showcase the talent that we have. And it just needs to be done, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that, man, the next thing is we need more venues in Louisiana. Come on. Where y'all at?
We're working.
Let's go. Well, you tell me what I need to do to help, because I want to.
We're working. We're trying. So, and I said Douga whenever I introduced you, and you're saying Douga, so I
Douga. That's all right, baby. I know.
If you're like me, you've been called worse. So.
That's fine.
Oh, goodness. Well, where can people find your music and follow you and all that good stuff?
Thank you so much. All streaming platforms, Sara Douga. It's like Doug with an A. Yeah, please follow me. I love my TikTok family. We wilding out. You get a different version of me because it's a little more unhinged. And if you want the pretty stuff, you can go to Instagram and Facebook, YouTube. I love the communities that we build on there. Please, if you stop by my page, say hello. Let me love on you.
Awesome. Will we come hang with us and for the CMA thing at Martin's on June 5th?
I'd love that. I'll put on my calendar, baby.
Yeah, come hang with us and get to meet everybody and all that good stuff.
That sounds great, Ronnie. Thank you for including me.
All right. Well, we will see you soon. I appreciate you taking a little time on a Tuesday night, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bonsoir.
Right. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Another Tuesday night. I say this every week, but it's just interviews like that are why I love doing what I do. And we're so honored to be able to do this and to showcase people like showcase talent like Sara and so many others. So if you enjoyed tonight, which I'm sure you did, come back and join us every Tuesday night and get to know more and more of these artists that are right here from your own backyard. Make sure to follow, like, share, comment. Help us show the world what Louisiana country music artists are out there doing. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. See you, Dustin. What's up, brother? God bless all the Louisiana folks out there. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. We'll see you next week right here on Louisiana Country Music Live.